Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, I'm over here starting cameras. And I'm live as well.
Wahoo.
So now we wait.
Telling me that you're live.
Yeah, it will.
We'll probably have to refresh it a few times.
Oh, here we go.
Wow. Hi.
Oh,
fancy.
hey. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say use that because I'm gonna have to pick up
Perfect.
that. Okay.
Hello to all of my friends on my Instagram live. I can't see who's popping in. I'm too far away, but
There's somebody
see
else
you.
in here with us.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
what's up?
It's just a little bit.
I'm actually gonna move mine closer since I don't have somebody to watch mine.
Oh, that's true. Oh,
Oh,
careful! It's in
We're
the
in the ring
Yeah.
light.
Oh, we're in the ring light now.
Or we're in the...
there.
There
And
we
then
go.
angle that one just a little bit. There.
Perfect.
There. Hi.
Hi, Sophia.
Welcome, everybody, to Paranormal Root Podcast. Hooray! We're doing it. It's real. Okay. So, this is Paranormal Roots Podcast, and we have not done anything in a while just because of life events that have been happening. So we are live on TikTok, Drewski30, and then we are also live on Kennedy's Instagram.
The Haunted Times.
Yeah. So we will still be able to take your questions and your anything that you need. We'll be able to answer on both. We have the live feed streaming on Christina's phone. So, Paranormal Roots. What is Paranormal Roots? I can't even say it now.
Paranormal Roots.
So we started, well, I officially started this back in like October-ish and wanted to kind of dig down deep into what paranormal world is and like what makes paranormal what it is. And so, you know, my last name being Root, it kind of just tied into that with a little help with some friends. And that's what it came out to be. So then I started that, and then I had a car accident, so I was unable to get back into it. But then I found these lovely ladies that wanted to join with me, and so we created our own little team, and that's kind of where we're at now. It's just a team of 3 of us ladies, and that's kind of where my vision was in the beginning was, oh my God.
Malfunction.
Catastrophe.
Blooper take number 1.
Right.
Anyway.
We wanted to, I've always had this vision of creating an all-female team. So I wanted to have all females from the cast to the production to everything. And I wanted to make this a really big thing. So that's kind of where we're at here now. So starting off, I am Drew, and I am 33. I'm from Michigan, and
I am Kennedy. I'm 23 and I'm from Indiana.
And I'm Christina. I'm 35. I am also from Michigan.
I'm a baby.
You are a baby.
baby in the
Aw.
group. We still love you.
We could be your paranormal moms.
Okay. Even though you would have been like 10.
When you were No?
You would have been 12.
Yeah, I was like,
That's so
I know, right?
anymore. So, how we met. So I met Christina first. I met her in Destination Spheres group for Dakota Layden. I think I posted. Was it me that posted?
Yeah, you had
this?
posted, so we had a convention in Michigan up in Sault Ste. Marie called the Michigan Paracon. And if you guys don't know who Destination Fear is, they're a paranormal team on the Travel Channel. You should definitely go check them out. But we were in a fan group together, and she had posted that she had bought a ticket and that she was going and wanted to know who else was going. And I think I had just bought a ticket at that time too. I was just going to go by myself. We were honestly both just going by ourselves. But I think I had messaged you and asked you if you wanted to carpool.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
she's about, an hour from where I live. And we just kind of started chatting after that. And, we kind of clicked. And she was doing an investigation in the Detroit area and asked if I wanted to tag along. And that was the first time we had really met face to face. So we hit it off great, and we were like, oh, this is this great start to
There
a
was,
wonderful friendship.
Nothing unusual about our meeting. Like, we literally met for the first time and we instantly vibed. Like, it was just like we were friends forever. Like, there was no awkward moments, and we just went into that investigation and we were just like, wow, like,
did we just become best friends?
Like soulmates or something. I don't know. Like, it was really cool. And then Kennedy, we met at the actual Paracon. We had kind of seen her on the group, but we didn't really like chat a lot. And then when we saw her at the Michigan Paracon, we were waiting in line to meet Ghost Brothers, which, by the way, also love for Ghost Brothers.
Yes.
I just immediately went up to her and I was like, "Hey!"
I
And
was
she
like,
goes,
oh my god, I hope she tells me who she is because I don't know who you are.
I just
You were
immediately
already
went up to
internet
her.
famous, Kennedy. We were just, you know, I don't know why we thought you would know who we were. We
It
were
was
just like,
like
hey.
the sixth time that day somebody random was just like, hi, and I'm like, I don't know you.
It was great. And I feel like all of our relationships have kind of just grown from there. It was like, the minute I met her, it was just like good vibes. The minute I met her, it was good vibes. Like, I knew that these were like my people. I knew that like this was going to be something more lifelong as opposed to just like short term. Like, I just need a friend to get me through Paracon. Like, it was way more than that. Like, I never hesitated with anything. Like, I can tell them anything and I don't, you know, we all look out for each other and, you know, it just felt right. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of where we went with that. So,
Getting breakfast at Dairy Queen, you know?
We only had to get ice cream because they didn't have food.
Right.
I'm walking around with a cherry slushie and I'm just like, my whole mouth is just red. And everyone's looking at me like, what is wrong with her?
You had a slushie for breakfast, and I believe I had a hot chocolate
I
sundae.
was like, I think we had ice cream. I had a blizzard, like a
Yeah,
little
you had a
blizzard.
blizzard, and I had a sundae.
No shame in our game. We have
Alright,
breakfast,
whatever.
ice cream for breakfast, and no
Yeah.
shame.
Breakfast of champions.
So what got me into ghost hunting was purely just watching shows, like watching ghost hunting shows. Like, there was not one in particular. I mean, it was multiple shows. I think Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, just those shows in that line really... I went home every single night. Went home every single night after school, and I was just like, okay, let's flip on the TV. What's on now? Like, my kind of love for that just grew from there. But I never really had an experience growing up, and so it always just piqued my interest. Like, why are all these people having experiences? Like, why haven't I experienced anything? Like, what do I need to do, and how do I get into this? And so, kind of let it take a back seat for a while, and then when I met everybody here, I was like, all right, this is it. This is where we're going. So.
Yeah, mine was a little bit different. I've always had experiences ever since I was a little kid. They used to scare me a lot. I remember one time being in my bedroom, and I grew up Catholic. I'm spiritual now, I'm not religious, but I was, I don't know, praying in my room about something and just, you know, give me a sign, and my candle lit, and it scared the crap out of me. And I think that was the first experience I ever really actually had. And then after that, it was kind of, if I went anywhere where there was activity, I was always the person getting touched. I would get goosebumps, I would feel things, I'd have, you know, sometimes I'd get scratched or there'd be a mark on me, but it scared me for the longest until I kind of realized it was going to be inevitable. So I first started watching Ghost Adventures, and then that kind of just branched out into the other shows that are out there. And for the longest, I didn't realize that people actually did that for a living. Like, that was something you could actually do. Like, you could actually investigate like haunted locations, and
You guys
try to
have really
connect.
cool jobs. Like, I
Yeah,
want a
yeah,
job like
exactly.
that.
And so I was like, wow, this is freaking awesome. But no, you know, I got a little bit older, and I do have a career. I manage an older building that has a lot of activity in it, and I think I would say within the last probably 3 years is when I really just dove really into like wanting to learn more. It's, if you've ever had an experience, you kind of know it goes like you have one and then you just want more. You need something bigger. And so right now I'm just kind of chasing that, you know, what's the next thing? What more can I learn from these experiences?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, just to bounce off of that, like, it's one of those things where it's like that adrenaline rush. Like, I just, you know, like, I want to know what that is. I want to know what happened. Like, why did it happen like that? Like, I need to know more. Like, can this happen everywhere we
Said
go?
what
Can
building?
this, this.
I can't tell you the exact building, but it's in Lansing.
Yep. By the way, hi Erin. Hi everyone else who's in there that I didn't see. And yeah.
What
So
about you?
My first experience, I was probably 6 or 7. This is the one that I can recall. My mom actually told me that I had night terrors as a child. They took me to the doctor, and the doctor was like, she'll grow out of it. Well, I never did. I still have night terrors to this day. And then I started watching a show called Ghost Asylum in 2014. Mike and Chris and a couple other guys that were with them, they were basically like, they were my ghost adventures. You know, they were what got me into the paranormal. And I truly believe that if it was not for them, I wouldn't be sitting on this couch chasing things that we can't see.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Like that, them for me is, like I said, your guys' ghost adventures.
Yeah.
They were detrimental to me getting into the paranormal. And my very first investigation was with them.
That's so cool. I love
Just
that.
a little
Yeah.
over,
Cool.
just a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I use that as like I'm either gonna like this or I'm gonna hate it. 2 years later and
Exactly.
thousands of dollars later, I clearly love it.
No, it's fun. It's great to find something you're passionate about and then meet other people just
Exactly.
based off of your passion.
Yeah.
It's been one of the coolest experiences for me, I think.
Yeah,
I was
agree.
a lot like Christina as a kid, you know, the experiences. And then my first few investigations, I was always the one being touched.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one that would always have the activity come out, and I would be the one that could, you know, spark it, and they would use me as like the ghost bait.
Right, I was gonna say
Right.
you're
So-
like the light in the dark,
Yeah.
you know, for
You're
the
quite
paranormal.
literally just like a
I-
beacon to basically mosquitoes.
Exactly.
They just,
They flock to you.
Come to me.
yeah.
So I feel like a lot of the time when we talk about like where we're going and how we get into these investigations, like I think that was like my biggest holdup in the beginning was how do I even do that? Like how do I get into actually ghost hunting? Like is it like a process? Is this like a super easy, simple thing? Like I can just go to a website, click, 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 and here I am. I just show up. Like I had no idea what I was doing. So I think my very first investigation was at Eloise Asylum over in Westland, Michigan. And I went with a group of people who had done this before. So I was like, all right, I'm in good hands. Like, I just give you my money. You just tell me where to go and what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. So it was a private investigation. And we kind of just like went through a rundown of like what the equipment was. We had a tour guide that led us through the whole building. And then from there on out, I was like, man, this is actually really easy to do. And so it kind of just like sparked more of like, where else can I go? So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it is hard when you don't know what to do. I mean, I've spent hours researching online, you know, what's the best equipment to use? Where should you start? I think my first investigation was at the Stimson Hospital. My first actual investigation. If you live in Michigan and you have a chance to check out the Eaton Rapids Stimson Hospital, I definitely recommend it. It's a smaller location, but there's lots of activity. It's a great place to go for like your first time.
Yes, I
hunt.
agree with that.
But I think I actually made an Ancestry.com account, and I was trying to like look up the history so I knew what I was walking into. I tend to like to know a little bit. Howdy, partner. I like to know a little bit about the location before I go, just so I can tell if like what I'm hitting on is accurate. Which now I'm starting to think I should be more like you and going blind to see if what I hit on is accurate.
You know, going blind is actually a little bit more scary than knowing what you're getting yourself into, because I have no idea about tonight.
right?
Like
yeah.
I know nothing.
That's
and
good,
and I
though.
love that
That's-
though,
yeah.
that you go into it with like the zero expectation, no history, like you have no idea what you're walking into, and that it's a good technique for certain people.
Hi, Cody.
For me, it just doesn't always work like that because it's a little too chaotic for me.
Mm-hmm.
But for her, she's done this for so long that this is like the best way for her to be able to go in and kind of just draw off the building and see what kind of energies are in there, you know, and that doesn't work for everybody. But that's the best thing about being a paranormal investigator, or you know, whatever you want to call yourself as far as ghost hunting goes, but like getting into how I want to approach different buildings and different things, like you try different things, you know, one thing might work for you and it might not work for the next person. So that's like the glory about ghost hunting is there's no right or wrong way to do it. I mean,
Well, also,
there are some wrong ways, but
Well,
that's another.
What
we
I
won't
think
get into
is-
that in this episode.
What's really cool too is that like the audience, or even if you're with other people that have never been before, if you have one person like Kennedy who goes in blind, and we all kind of know already a little bit of the back history, her validating some of these
Yeah.
things is also, a sign that, there is paranormal activity there, or, that, she's hitting on things that you already knew in the back of your head, but she had no idea about. So it kind of like validates that point for you.
Yeah.
And if you truly don't know where to start, look up paranormal events. There's event companies that run investigations out of these buildings, like the same ones that we go to, the same ones that you see on TV. There's like I said, the Wraith Chasers. They do events like that. There's Haunted Nights with Stephen Dillon.
Yeah, we're
I've
going
done-
on
I
one.
wanna
with
do that.
I've
Armin
done
here, too.
several events with them, and they are probably one of the most phenomenal event companies that I've dealt with.
Yeah.
There's the other Haunted Nights company, Brandon Lyle and I believe Tanya is her name. They run fantastic events too. Like they go to places that you can't typically get into, like places in Gettysburg.
Oh, that's sweet.
And the
Yeah.
Wraith Chasers, they do the bigger locations like St. Albans. I'm working on an ISS, like Indiana State Sanatorium date. They go to the big prisons like Missouri State Pen, and they go, like Steve goes to Moundsville. So like if you truly don't know where to start, just try reaching out to one of them.
Yeah, and tag like in a big group with people, bring someone with you that maybe shares a similar interest to you. And then, just these events are meant to be like large events. These events are meant to bring a lot of people in. So not only will you have the people that are with you, or even if you want to go by yourself, there's tons of people there. We're all a bunch of weirdos in a weird place.
They want to know where we're going.
So tonight
We're
tonight we are going ghost hunting. So
Yes, we are.
I had no idea. Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong apartment.
So where are we going? Well, I guess now would be a good time to talk about it. So we have this really big idea to do this year. We really want to work on a documentary, and we want to get into, following a little bit of like what a ghost hunting trip looks like, and
nitty gritty.
and there's lots and lots of documentaries out there that are amazing with that. But the one that's a little that makes it a little different for us is just because we're just like everybody else. We're just normal people with everyday jobs. Like I'm a nurse. I mean,
I'm a cashier.
yeah. So like
I'm
we
a property manager. I've only got like 50 followers on TikTok, so
Right.
that's how cool I am. Go follow Christina Marie Talk so I can go live. I need 1,000 followers.
So like, but the cool thing with that is that it's a accumulation of all the things that we're doing as a group, and I think that's like the main reason why I wanted to start this was that it's bringing three totally different people together who have three totally, numbers are hard, three totally different investigation techniques and different talents and different skill sets that all come together that can make like the perfect storm. So yeah, I just think that I want to bring a lot of energy. I want to bring a lot of positivity to this world because the paranormal industry gets a lot of flack. I feel like a lot of people that don't believe in it or, whatever, they just don't believe it. So then we get a lot of negativity with it. But there are positive things that we can pull out of this. And, I just feel like this is like meant to be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so tonight we are going to Eloise! Hooray!
Eloise Psychiatric Hospital.
This
Yes.
will be my 5th time going.
This is my second.
a
This
draw.
will be my first.
I just have such a draw to this place, and I don't know if it's because of my medical background or if it's because I'm a woman. I just can't figure it out, but I want to know what it is. But I just keep getting drawn to this place, and I just want to know more about it. And I think that bringing these two with me helps with, a different kind of investigation. And we're a lot more prepared this time than we were the last couple
definitely.
times. The first time I showed up with with my backpack and a smile on my face, and I said, "Let's go."
Well, I showed up with about a pound of beef jerky, so. That's where I'm at.
So where we'll be going this year, I really don't want to say too much because it kind of gives that element of surprise. But what I will say is there's going to be a few places that that not a lot of places have been explored. We'll have a lot of little places, and then we have some really big places that we're going. So there's a big genre we're covering. So we wanted to make it a little bit like all over the place, kind of like little places and then, you know, some big well-known places. So stay tuned for that. You'll have to follow our podcast. I do have a YouTube that streams this. It's over YouTube, and you can just type in Paranormal Roots, or you can type in Drew Root, and I should pop up on there. And then these two are also going to be with me, so it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm excited to show you guys, you know, from start to finish, how we find locations, the things we are prepared to bring with us when we go. What I've learned is, obviously, rule of thumb of you can never have too much stuff, but with ghost hunting, you can have too much stuff.
Yeah.
I learned this lesson the hard way when my backpack was like 40 pounds last time we went to Eloise. So I guess, yeah, just in the beginning, just making sure that you're not bringing more things than what you need. And
that's
I'm excited to kind of go over all that stuff with people.
Like, you're going up flights of stairs. Like, some places, like this place has 5 floors. Like, you have to carry all that stuff on your back and carry it up the stairs. And like, there are no...
There's
like,
no electricity, so
there's
the
no elevators.
don't work.
Yeah, true.
Like, you're gonna have to figure it out. So if you don't want to carry up a 50-pound bag, then you should probably declutter it a little bit and not bring so much stuff. So yeah, what shows do you like that technique wise that bring, like, what do you like from TV shows?
Approach wise, I kind of like how Destination Fear does things. You know,
Yeah.
only one of them knows certain information about the location, and then everybody
Yeah.
else kind of learns at a later time.
I like that they split off
I
Yeah.
do too.
a lot.
I think like the aspect of fear kind of plays a huge role in how the paranormal reacts to you.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And how you
absolutely.
react to the paranormal. You know, if you go into a location and you're already scared and something bangs on the wall, you're gonna freak out.
Your energy's heightened, like your
Right.
response.
So you're
and stuff,
already going
yeah.
in there giving them the energy to
Feed
Yeah.
off of.
Manifest
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm I feel like for me, I'm more of like the scientific behind it. So like, yeah, I'm gonna be put in a dark room by myself. It's scientifically going to release chemicals in your brain that's gonna put you in a fight or flight mode. So your senses are already heightened. So I like with Destination Fear when they take away those senses, like, okay, so my senses are already heightened, but if I take away another element of that, like, what happens? Like, am I
Right.
creating things in my own brain? Like, or is something really truly happening? So I like that, but then I also like a lot of history behind it. So I like to know the nitty gritty details of a building. So I feel like that has a lot to do with that as well. And I really like Chris and Mike's techniques with the going in and just having fun and like just having a conversation and joking around with each other like that of the people that are with you, and it brings out a different type of energy. So like I really love that. So I pull that a lot.
And I think I'm going to piggyback off of that. Mike actually taught me on my first investigation that it doesn't have to be a question to the spirits. It can be a full-on conversation between two living people, and maybe the spirit would be like, "Oh, hey,
Like chime in.
yeah, I like that."
Mm-hmm.
And like we've done an experiment where we talk about our favorite ice cream flavor just in a normal conversation, and we actually get responses where they pop in and they're like, "Oh, mine's vanilla or
Strawberry. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's super cool.
Oh yeah, Cody, that would be awesome. I would love that.
And I also love the history aspect afterwards.
Like like knowing the full history after you go.
I love
Oh,
to know the
yeah.
history of places. I'm a history major myself, double history major actually, and history has always been an important part of. It's an important part of the paranormal in general, but it's always been something that I've taken a liking to and I have a passion for. So learning the history of a building Sometimes I want to learn before I go in. You know, there's certain places where I've been to several times where you guys haven't been yet, where I'm going to know all of the history.
Yeah.
And then there's some places where I don't want to know anything, like tonight. Like
Right.
I haven't. The only thing that I've seen on Eloise is the Destination Fair episode, which I haven't watched in a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm going in quite blind.
No, it's gonna be a good time.
Well,
for
and
sure.
the other day when we were FaceTiming, you were hitting on some stuff that I was like, Christina.
I know. Me and Drew were like, shh, shh.
I
She's
was
texting
like-
me. Don't tell
Yeah, I
her.
was like, don't tell her anything, but holy crap.
Yeah,
And I didn't know I
so-
could do that. I didn't know that I could pick up on something that's 100 and some miles away from my house. Like,
Yeah, that's
It was the most,
crazy.
hands down, the craziest thing I have ever heard in my life. But I was just like, what do I say? Like, how do I respond? Do I tell her, like, yeah, that's right? Like, I don't know, because she didn't want to know, like, anything. So I was just like, she said, just tell me if I'm, like, close to being right.
just tell me if I'm right.
And I was like, yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just like
a tiny bit.
everything
Kind
that I
of.
would send to her, she was like, yes. And I'm like, okay, I need a little more.
I didn't know. I didn't want to be, like, too much with it. So,
I think my thing is like, to be honest, I haven't been anywhere yet that's actually scared me. Like, I haven't gotten that fear feeling in
I
such
wish
a long
I could
time.
say the same.
I like
I
chasing
agree.
that. Like, I want to know more. Like, my take on it is like, I already know that something happens when we die, but like, what exactly is it? Are certain spirits trapped in certain places, or can we travel wherever we want to go? Can we go in between dimensions? Like, I like having experiences with elementals and human spirits. Like, I like to kind of just dig down and see like what really happens when we leave here, and that's kind of what I'm constantly chasing when I'm investigating.
now for you, what TV shows, like, do you draw from? Like, what inspires you?
I started off watching Ghost Adventures. I'm definitely still a diehard fan. I started watching it in like 2007, 2008, so it was before all these other shows kind of. It was like the only show I really watched that was like a paranormal investigation show. I liked some of the locations they went to. I'd always had a fascination with Bron Castle and the history of, like, you know, Vlad the Impaler. And so when they went there and I saw that they were having these experiences, I thought that was super cool. And then, like to piggyback off you guys, like, I really like watching Destination Fear because I just like the way that they go about doing investigations. I like you're saying, one person knows, everybody else is kind of left in the dark. The splitting up to kind of raise that fear element, just because that's something that, like, I haven't felt in a long time, is actually feeling like, oh crap, like, I gotta get out of here, or what is happening to me? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, that was definitely paranormal. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'd say Ghost Adventures, Destination Fear. I am starting to get more into other shows. It's hard to find the time to watch TV right now.
Yeah, no, for
And
sure.
it's hard to branch out once you find something that you like.
Like. Yeah, I always
Because then
go
you
back to the
compare
same
to
stuff.
all the other shows, and
Yeah.
you're like, it's just not the same.
Man, this kind of sucks because they don't do things a certain way, or
Yeah,
they
right.
approach it different. But
Or like you expect something totally different, and you're like, well, that was not what I was
Yeah.
expecting.
most of the time when I start a new show,
I know you guys are a little bit like, I'm the unpopular opinion, but I do like more of like the darker stuff. So I do like that Ghost Adventures kind of dives into more like or elemental locations. That's not something that we're going to be doing, but that is my interest in the field.
I will say though, out of the 2 years of investigations that I've done, that number in probably the hundreds by now, I've only ever come across true evil one time.
What location?
Bobby Mackey's.
That's my bucket list spot. Oh my goodness. Well, they have deboed this for me, but one day I'll get there.
I was
crazy.
telling Drew this in the car, and if you want to go. But you're not
I'm
taking
not
us.
going by myself.
You can go with somebody else, but I can almost promise that relationship will go out the window afterwards.
So take somebody I already don't care for.
Yeah. Because I did something similar. I went with my boyfriend at the time, and pretty safe to say that about a week and a half later, he was not my boyfriend anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, like, you always have to make sure that you're, not saying you weren't, but like, be
Right.
super protected when you go to
Right.
locations that are known to have elementals, because you don't know what can attach itself to you.
Well, and
even spirit-wise.
I
but-
preached to him in the car on the way over. I was like, you will not provoke at this place. I was like, this place is known for its darker activity.
Right.
Well, we were standing in the parking lot, and he's like, I don't know, I think this place is kind of underrated. And I'm like, you just made the worst mistake of your
like,
life.
shoot, this is about to be a
Yeah.
terrible.
And I'm like, I'm going to have to break up with him.
Like, Like,
he made it pretty easy by putting his hand around my throat. So, you know.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah, no.
And I think the Cecil Hotel would be a cool location to do. Too.
I would like to go there.
Yeah, I could get behind that. I want to make sure that my podcast is very centered around like the positive energies of ghost hunting.
Absolutely,
Just because there's so many elements to ghost hunting, and there's so many different techniques and different like avenues to go with it. Like, you know, a lot of shows like to do only demonic stuff and the dark histories of stuff, and there's other shows that like to do more of like the skepticism of it. And, you know, there's different ways to approach it, and I just want to do something a little different and something new that people really haven't seen before. So,
and there's still so much demonic activity on YouTube. I'm not going to name names, but it really doesn't exist in that amount.
I feel like people confuse like angry spirits with demonic.
Yeah.
That's like one thing that I hate about the whole YouTube thing is they go in and just because a tripod falls off a couch, it's automatically a demon.
Oh no.
No, to be honest, if you were in my space, I'd probably knock the tripod off too, just so I could get you out of there.
Right.
Because like when you think about like an old nursing home, that was the only thing that they knew for however many years that they were there. They didn't have family. They didn't have, you know, essentially people who truly cared about them. So the nursing home was the only place where they felt at home, and that's why they're still there. It's home to them.
yeah.
You know, hauntings don't have to be haunted because of a tragic event.
Right.
It can be that's where they have the best memories.
Well, that's kind of what I was saying on the. Not to interrupt you, but like
No, you're good.
how it's like once we leave here, like can we go wherever we want to go?
Right.
Like maybe my favorite place in the world was my high school baseball diamond, so that's where I hang out because that's what made me happy when I was alive.
Yeah. I agree with
Exactly.
that.
Not everything is demonic.
No.
And that's essentially what we were hitting on with that one.
Yeah. And there's always that fine line that, you know, am I going too far with this? You just got to know your limits and when to stop. You know, when are you have to know when your comfort is. So like if I'm going to a place and I hear the word demon in my ear, that's my trigger. Like I'm done. This is too far for me. That's not what I'm here for. And like for Christina, that might be something different. For Kennedy, that might look like something different. You know, like we all have our own comfort levels in that line in the sand where it's like, you know, for me, this is too much and I'm going to step back. So it's also really super important when you're going into locations is knowing that line. You have to know what is too much for me and when should I step back? When should I take a break? What signs am I going to look for me to be like, you know what? Whoa, I need to take a breather. I need to go outside. I need to disconnect from this place a little bit and like kind of just spitballing off of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where I've gotten physically ill, like start throwing up, massive headache, have to go outside for, 15, 20 minutes, sit down.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's because it's something that it was bad was in there. It could just mean that there's so much energy that my body is just reacting to it that way.
Right,
Like Drew saying, know your limits. Don't try to push through something like that. If you need to take a break, step out and take a break. Get some water to drink, have a snack, sit down, maybe go over some of your footage at your nerve center, wherever you're set up at. Don't push yourself too far.
And to piggyback off of that, maybe it's also kind of a thing where they don't quite know how to project their energy yet.
Right.
Maybe they're so new to the paranormal, like people coming in and willing to talk. There's several at my job as a tour guide, that I deal with at the Indiana State Sanatorium, where they're just so overbearing, and it's because people never went in there for 11 years.
Yeah.
Like they never wanted to talk for 11 years. So now that we finally open the doors and there's people coming in, every night or every other night, like, oh my God, they want to talk to me.
Right.
So like maybe they really don't mean harm, and it's just like they just don't quite comprehend how to.
Or they're excited, like, hey, it's been years
it's been
since
so
anybody's
long.
talked to me.
Right.
So
Agreed.
I'm not forgotten anymore.
And that's super important too, is that just when you go into an investigation, just remembering these are human beings. Like they were people, they were alive just like you and I. I mean, talking to them like they're just robots is like never going to be effective. Have an actual conversation. Like, do you go up to somebody and be like, who are you? No, you don't. You go up and you say, hi, I'm Drew. Like, what's your name? Like, like, do you have a favorite color? Like, what do you like to eat? Like, just have a genuine human conversation. Just remember that these were at one time living human beings, and that can already set you aside from a lot of the investigators that are starting out already. So like taking just little tips and tricks from people, not even just us, like just anyone that you see is, you know, the best piece of advice that I've ever got was, you're going to get advice from everybody in this world. So everyone in there who has a mouth that says words is going to give you advice. The best thing you can do is take everything in, take what you want and leave what you don't. You know, there's no reason to just say like, I would never do that and like make a big fit about it. Like just take what you want and leave what you don't.
I think like to kind of piggyback off of your human conversation, just have a little compassion.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these people who were in, you know, psych hospitals like we're going to tonight, they didn't really know compassion. They were left by their families. They were left by people who they wholeheartedly trusted.
Yeah.
And they were just dropped off on the curb and said, they never even got to say goodbye.
Right.
So like, it's instead of going in and being like, oh, well, I don't know who you are, so I'm not going to talk to you. Just sit there and listen to them. Like just...
Or getting angry, like, why aren't you answering me?
Right.
Like,
if they
answer me right now.
If
like,
they don't answer you
like
and you're
that.
acting like that, I probably wouldn't answer you either, to be honest.
Right.
And
yeah,
think about that
exactly.
as well as, like, a lot of these places have kids. Like, kids were here. Kids died there. Kids' spirits are still there. Like, how would I approach a kid on the sidewalk that I don't know? I would not scream at them and antagonize them. They would be afraid of you. So, like, how do you coax a child? You know, get down on their level, like get lower out to the ground and just be like, hey, you know, look what I've got with me. You want to come play with this? Like, which we'll get into in just a minute with different types of techniques that you can use and different objects you can use. But yeah, you have anything you want to add with that?
No, we can jump into the stuff we like to use. Oh, you have one last thing. Okay.
Just be respectful. Be respectful.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're going into their home. I don't think you would like it if somebody come into your home and started asking 1,000 questions at one time.
Yeah. And if you decide to not be respectful, don't be surprised when something decides to come to
if
your
you're not
house
respectful,
and disrupt your home.
if you're disrespectful and something happens, I don't feel sorry for you.
Exactly.
You know, and like when you go into a place, this is like the biggest thing that I take away, especially in a big, huge public investigation. Like tonight, I think there's like 40 people or something like that going. So like keeping that in mind, like you're going to get a lot of outside noise. You have to keep that in mind. Like there's going to be other people investigating, doing the same things that you're doing. But, you know, what really bothers me is when we're all in a group trying to be quiet and trying to investigate and ask questions with an EVP, which we'll go over in a minute. But people are being loud and obnoxious and swearing and this stuff and getting angry. And it's like, whoa, like slow down a little bit. Like it's okay to take a step back and slow down a minute, because the swearing is disrespectful. The yelling is never going to get you anywhere. And I just think that just remember going in, you are a guest in these buildings. Like you are in somebody else's home that was their home at one point. I mean, and this building is so rich of history. Like just keep that in mind. Like just walk in with an easy open mind and just gentle. Just go in.
We have a question on mine.
Oh yeah.
Where are you guys located?
I'm in Lansing, Michigan.
And I'm in the Kalamazoo area.
And I'm in Indiana.
Yeah, like
Right here.
So yeah, we have equipment here that like just some little things that we picked up that we wanted to show you. Okay, there's nothing new. Okay, so if you want to start, or I guess we can start with those.
Start with the stuff over there.
So we can start with like the kids stuff, I guess. If
That's
you wanna
fine,
do
since we
that.
kind of talked about that.
So like with kids stuff, like we use things like bears. Like you can also buy things online that have like little light up things in it. So if it gets close to it, it lights up. But you know, like
This is just
like
a regular teddy bear.
Yeah, just like a little
The
teddy
Boo
bear. Yeah,
Oh,
the
the-
buddy.
okay.
Yep. So like that, or like even just a regular ball. You can just set it on the ground and just say, hey, I brought you something. If you want to come play with it, it's right out in the middle of the hallway. Just tell them where it's at. You know, show them how it works. Like this is, if you just tap it, it rolls. It's really cool. There's also things like cat balls. They're motion censored, so if you set it on the table or on the ground, and it takes a minute, but once it stops, if something taps the table, it'll light up, and then it'll signify you that something is either near it, or it could be a breeze. You never know, so it's good to
And yes,
investigate
those
it.
are actual cat toys.
Yes, they are cat toys on Amazon.
You can find them on Amazon. It's super easy.
I think
They're
I like
fairly cheap.
They
6
come
for
in a pack of
$12
8,
or
I
something
think,
like
right?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that we have are like little balloons. So like you can blow up a balloon, and it's really light and airy, so you can just toss it in a hallway,
And it's
then,
easier for them to move lighter objects
Yeah,
because it takes
yeah.
more
And then
energy
you
to move
will
something
have to be a
heavier.
little more careful with that since it's so light. Even the slightest wind
Yeah,
could blow
yes.
it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would be more like in a controlled room where
A
you know
controlled
there's no
environment.
draft, there's no outside sources of wind or anything like that, where there's nothing that can contaminate this.
So if there's a broken window, don't use a balloon.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. Or a cat ball that rolls really
Here's
easy.
another sensor. So this little guy, should I turn it on? It's super loud.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Go for it.
ding it. Plug your ears.
Earphone users be warned.
Yeah, it's really loud.
So this one has a doorbell effect, but it's pretty sensitive. Like even if we raise our hand, well, I guess you have to be in the. I guess that
You have to
it's
get,
as
like-
sensitive as it was before.
Yeah, you have to get close to it in order for it to go off. But if you're in that direct line, and keep that in mind too when you have stuff like that, or like a music box. Know the direction of where it's going, because if you walk in front of it and it goes off, it's gonna scare the living poop out of you. But just
Right.
know that it could have been you.
Right? It may not actually be a ghost.
Debunked.
What else do you have,
I
Christina?
have my 4K camera, so it's almost like a little GoPro camera. I'll show you. It's actually pretty tiny. I want to say I got this on what did we say it was? Not Ghost Stop, but
Digital dowsing.
Digital dowsing. So
Yeah.
I want to say, sorry about that. I want to say it was maybe $2.99, something
Unprofessional.
along. I know, right? Along the lines of that. But I also
Doing here?
purchased a bigger IR light to go with it. So I have a mount that they both screw onto, and so when you're in the dark, you turn on your IR light and you can see
can
more.
see in the dark.
You can see more visually.
Night vision.
Everything.
So that was pretty much all your stuff, right?
Well, then you got the
Right.
the stuff over by
So I'll start with the K2 meter. This measures electromagnetic energy, but you also have to be very careful because if you get it near a phone, it actually sets it off as well. So we always recommend to either turn your phone completely off or to put it on airplane mode. Some of these actually do. Does this one have noise or no? No.
No.
Oh, it's a boring one. there are some that you can get where it actually it makes a kind of like a ringing noise when you get in close contact. So the red one all the way over here is the highest amount of energy that can be. It's over 20 milligauss, which is the reading that they gauge electromagnetic energy with. Words are hard. And then the green one over here is just like your baseline where you kind of want it to be.
Yeah,
And
I
not
get
until you-
excited if it gets orange.
Right.
If it gets to
Right.
yellow orange,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, there's something going on.
And then the next one is the EVP that we mentioned earlier. We literally just use a very basic digital voice recorder that you can get literally anywhere. I think
Best
this
Buy,
one is
I
from either Amazon or Best Buy. This one is Christina's, so I don't know where you got it.
Yeah, I
but,
think it was Best Buy. It's like $18.
It literally
$15.
just, it records it. Sometimes it has a red light, so we can be like, if you have anything to say to us, why don't you come up and talk in the red light? Or you can talk in the red light or whatever.
Yeah.
Very handy. Sometimes it doesn't catch anything, which is always disappointing. But
Yeah.
sometimes you get that one good one, and you're just like.
I have not
And
been
you can
lucky enough to
listen
get a good
close.
EVP yet.
I actually caught a Class A EVP, and Class A is where you don't have to guess what it says.
Yeah.
It was at the Moundsville State Penitentiary in Moundsville, West Virginia. I'm getting my states mixed up. It was in the hole down in the boiler room where R.D. Wall was said to haunt, and I was kind of trying to connect with R.D. and I said that he didn't deserve what was done to him. And if you know anything about the West Virginia Penitentiary, then you kind of know what happened. But I was like, you didn't deserve what they did to you. And clear as day, there's a man that's like standing right in front of me, and he goes, "No." And like it's so clear and it's so deep, and I was
yeah.
like, I heard that, and I'm like,
You're like, I'm agreeing with you. I'm so sorry that happened.
Well, then about 20 backed up, I got chased. So
Oh my gosh. That's creepy.
it's a notification Somebody wants to join. Never mind.
Sorry.
No joining. And then our next tool that we occasionally use, I guess it's kind of.
I
more
have
like
them
me.
too.
Do I use them the most though?
Probably.
Tarot cards. People, I know several people that use these as like a prediction for what's going to happen on the investigation. I did one a few nights ago, and I think I'm going to do one again. The energy feels a little bit different, so that'll be
I
interesting.
agree.
You can get those pretty much at any metaphysical shop. Most metaphysical shops have them. You know, places where you can get crystals. You know, sage if you need it. Basically, you can even get them online too. And it's kind of just one of those things where picking a deck is a little bit more difficult. You know, just pick one that you feel drawn to. This one was like
My first
like
deck,
screamed at
yeah.
me.
My first deck was like my,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's all the equipment that we have on us.
Yeah.
And we also use like your standard walkie-talkies. If you watch the paranormal shows, you've seen the spirit box, you've seen
REM
the music
pods.
box, you've seen the REM pods, you know, you've seen the Ovilus. So we pretty much use what you see on the TV shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that we don't have collectively as a group is the music box and the Ovilus. Which
Right.
We'll get eventually.
Well, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Or we'll investigate with somebody who has one that we can be like, I'm just
Or
gonna
if you,
steal
yeah,
it.
or if you want to
Regardless.
send us some, you're more
Yes,
than
we
willing
will
to
always
take them.
we will always take equipment.
Take use equipment anytime.
Use equipment as long as it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
As
I know
long
a
as
guy
it's
that can fix
functional,
that.
we don't care.
Exactly. So, where are some places on your bucket list? And this includes like local places and international places. So, how about we do this? How about we do like one international place and one like local place that you want to go? Like your dream place.
International. I'm gonna have to go with Spike Island in Ireland.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that one.
Locally, investigation-wise, I think Trans-Allegheny Lunatic
Oh,
Asylum.
yeah.
And just a tour, I'd probably say Alcatraz.
Oh, that would
what
be
I would
sweet.
give.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it's about the same. Spike Island for sure is my international place that I really want to go. I think locally, man, that is a tough one. There's so many good places out there, but Trans-Allegheny is right
Yeah.
up there. Yeah, I think that's
You guys just
probably.
twinning it out over here.
I really think that. I think Trans-Allegheny is the take the cake for me.
Internationally, like I mentioned earlier, Bran Castle, hands down. I've always loved the history of Vlad the Impaler. I'm a huge, to piggyback off like fantasy stuff, I love vampires. I love the story of Dracula. I saw that when Ghost Adventures had gone there, they got some awesome evidence. So that's definitely probably internationally my place I would choose to go. Locally, if you guys are coming with me, I want to do the Winchester Mansion.
Okay.
I would love to
Okay.
do the Winchester Mansion, primarily because I
Hi,
say
Gosney.
that this building that I manage was built by the Winchester Mansion because
Yeah.
there's so many things not making sense. So I'd say that's definitely high on my bucket list.
That is not what I thought you were gonna say.
To be
And
honest, I
was
thought you were
be
going to
like,
reach
no.
for the obvious, and I was like,
Yeah.
What's the obvious?
Bobby Mackey.
Oh yeah, well of course, yes. I'm going to go to Bobby Mackey's, but they're not going to come with me. So if I have to do one collectively with us, no.
Yeah.
Winchester, they're pretty
That's a
tight
good
for me
one.
though.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Skinwalker Ranch would be sweet too.
Ooh.
That's a pretty good
That's-
one too.
I don't know, man. Idaho State Penitentiary's up there for me as well.
Ooh, yeah.
And Wyoming Frontier.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, that would be
another
cool.
really good one that I really want to do is Sweet Spring Sanatorium. I want to go so bad.
I'm trying so hard
bad.
to get in that location that it's
know.
ridiculous.
I want to go there so
I'm
badly.
excited for our other one later in the summer.
It's gonna be a good one.
Is it the one that I'm thinking?
Yes.
Yes.
I should know this place, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not like I work there or anything.
And then Randolph.
Randolph County.
yeah,
I
Public.
want to do the Speakeasy. Speaks out to me for some reason. Like I want to see the Speakeasy when we go there.
Well,
Hopefully
she
we
just
can go
told
there.
you one of our locations,
Well, we don't-
I guess.
It's not set in
It's not
stone
set in
yet,
stone,
but
Yeah, it's not
It
set in
is
stone,
in
but
the
the
works.
Speakeasy I think sounds so cool.
It is.
Yeah, I
in
haven't
it's
been
in the
there
works.
yet. I've been to Randolph County Infirmary and the Blackford County Jail, but I haven't been to the Speakeasy yet.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I think
that's-
it's just that era to me is so
Yeah.
cool. And
Yeah.
like when I was younger and I worked in the bar, I at one point wanted to open my own bar, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, Speakeasy would be so cool. And so that kind of stuff.
I think that's like
Exciting
one
to
of
me.
those places that's like it's a combination group thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
it's
multiple locations when you book this one place. Like you can choose several different locations that they own with that. So it is in the works. It's just not something that we have set in stone that we bought and we are going. Like there's quite a few places that we have already booked, that we have planned, that we like are not telling you where we're going until we go there. But with
Throw away the key.
Yeah, I know. Just give me some duct tape.
yeah. But some of what has been your most favorite place that you've ever been ghost hunting?
Oh. I'm going to have to toss it up between the Exchange Hotel in Gordonsville, Virginia, or... No, I'm going to go the Exchange. Hands down. It was a former Civil War hospital, and anybody who knows me knows that the Civil War is just like, that's my shit. Like, I love to learn about the Civil War. I love to learn about the people that were involved. You know, I've got a couple attachments from places like Gettysburg, and I absolutely fell in love with the place when I was there for the first time. That's ultimately what kind of, you know, reignited my passion for learning about the Civil War.
I saw the way.
I know. I was like, hey.
It was just like that's what I want to do with the rest of my life. Is I want to work with something to do with the Civil War.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. What about for you?
Honestly, I haven't gone on that many investigations.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick my favorite place, I'm gonna say this building. I've had more experiences in this building that we're in right now. It's a mid-rise in Lansing. It was built and started construction in the 50s. I managed some of the houses over here that were built in the 1800s. Ooh. I constantly have experiences on a daily, weekly basis. So I would definitely say this is probably my favorite place to play around with my equipment in, just because of the evidence that I've been able to witness and get.
Right.
But other than that, I do really like the Stimson Hospital in Eaton Rapids, probably because that was the first place I got a lot of stuff like on camera or recorded, where I could show people and they would just be like, what? And, you know, but again, I feel like a lot of people are skeptical until they witness it firsthand. And even sometimes when I witness things firsthand, I'm looking for reasons. Like, okay, wait, was that just the wind? Like, is somebody behind me? Does somebody come down the stairs? Like, stuff like that. What about you?
I think that my favorite so far, which I'm kind of in the same boat as her, I haven't really been to a ton of places. My favorite, it's a tie here. So the location-wise was not my favorite, but who I was investigating with was awesome. When I went with Mike and Chris over to the Dundee, Michigan, we went to a museum. That was pretty cool.
Was it the mill?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to go there.
It was so cool. But my hands down favorite place that I've been so far is Madison Seminary.
You got a lot of cool stuff.
Cool.
That's like just watching your live.
You know, and it's funny that you say that because exactly 1 year ago today, I was investigating Madison Seminary.
I
That's
love
so cool.
Madison.
I haven't been there
Hi.
yet.
But I genuinely just loved that building. It was a lot of energy. It was a lot of history. And then Adam, who owns the property, was just fantastic. He was such a good historian. He was super lighthearted. He was very friendly. He made us feel very comfortable. He's like, you know, anything you need, just let me know. And I just love that about people. And, you know, I love when people are like, welcome to my place.
Right.
Bring it
That's
in.
also actually where I learned about my first attachment.
Oh, really?
So today's kind of special for me.
I hope that means we are going to have so much fun tonight.
He's
hope
going to come
so.
through. I can almost promise it.
So real quick, let's just kind of talk about like how to book a place and like go through that process, and then we should be getting going here shortly.
Yeah, we should definitely hit the road soon.
But booking a location. So the first thing you want to figure out is, you know, obviously, like, when these, you know, knowing where you want to go. That's, like, the first and foremost.
What do you
Like,
say?
where do you want to go? What?
Glesney asks, is there any location that you would never go back to due to a terrifying experience?
Ooh, that's a great
Yes!
question.
Bobby Mackey's Music World in Wilder, Kentucky. I will never go
We're
back.
going to drop her off there.
I want to go so bad.
Do me a favor and walk home. Because
Yeah.
I'm not coming back to pick you up. The experience wasn't really at the location. It was what unfolded afterwards. It's still kind of difficult for me to talk about. It was kind of traumatic. But without going into too many details, I went with my boyfriend at the time and a group of friends. And we were all super close at the time. I'd known my boyfriend for probably 2 or 3 months at the time. And the investigation went fine. Nobody was scratched. Nobody got hurt. There was nothing really dark about it. We caught an EVP in the well that said, "Help me." I don't know how I heard it, but I told Mike, I was like, wait a minute, I think that said, "Help me." And sure enough, he played it back on the speaker, and that's exactly what it said. But that night when we went back to the hotel, his entire demeanor it completely changed. And it wasn't the person that I met 2 or 3 months prior. And when we got back to his roommate's house, which oddly enough, the best thing that came out of that situation, she's like one of my closest friends now. I work with her down at the sanatorium during the covered bridge. And for whatever reason, he felt the need to tell me that I was too obsessed with my phone, and he actually tried to kill me that night. So I will
that's crazy.
I will never go back to Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
I haven't been to a location I wouldn't go back to, but I did when I was in Vegas one year go to the Haunted Museum out there, and there's a lot of stuff in there, and you have to be careful for attachments. And coming home, I had a complete mental breakdown. I was extremely depressed, borderline suicidal thoughts, just not myself at all. I even ended up going up to the community mental health in the area to have an evaluation done because I thought I was going crazy, and it lifted in 2 to 3 days. Then I was back to my normal self. So I would definitely be cautious going back there. I'm not saying I would never go back there, but I would think differently of the things that I guess I didn't provoke anything, but I'd say put interest in, because you can choose I'm going to this exhibit. You can stay out of this exhibit. There's a couple exhibits I may just not put my foot back in.
Right.
What about you?
I haven't had anything. I'm more of that skeptic though. I'm more of the person that's it's just water dripping from an old leaky building.
You're like Chris.
I
you
just
never
go back
you
to-
never sees anything. You never hears anything.
I just
Except
I'm open to the idea. I'm open to
Right.
it, and I do feel things. I do feel energy.
You were touched that when we were in Stimson.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. That was. I got my butt touched. That was pretty cool.
Hey, butt grab club.
It's been a long time. So
Good time. It will.
Give it time.
Another terrifying experience for me was at Moundsville in West Virginia. I was chased out of the hole.
Oh my gosh.
I will always go back every chance I get. I don't care how scared I get there. It's one of those places that, for whatever reason, I feel safer in a maximum security prison than I do in a psychiatric hospital. So I don't know why. I'd rather be with hardcore criminals versus crazy people.
But
that's a
maybe
toss-up,
me being
man.
a nurse, I just
That
love
could be.
hospitals.
That
I love
could be.
hospitals. I love the insane asylums. Sometimes I love them, but you know what I mean. I
haven't been to a
the
prison
You just have
energy's
that
there for me.
connection.
Yeah.
Connection
It's
to
more of a deeper rooted connection for me.
Leslie says that I'm always the same. I try to take a very skeptical approach.
Yeah. See,
That's a good mindset to have, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to chalk everything up as a ghost, but you also don't want to
Yeah.
be oh, they don't exist.
Exactly.
Right.
You want to have
for
that
me,
good, happy medium.
I feel like I bring that to this team,
Right.
where I do believe that there's something out there. I do believe that it's something more than just science can explain away. I do believe that there are things that we don't know, different dimensions, different things, and
Right.
paranormal. It is a thing. However, do I believe that every single unknown thing is paranormal? No, not necessarily. I do
Right.
believe a lot of things can be explained away, and I feel like that brings such a healthy balance to this team, is because I try to look for the things that are could we try and test that and see if that was something that happened in the building itself, or walk over there and see if that floor creaks when you walk by it, or take 10 feet back and walk that way. Is it something that we did as a human beings and then we just scared ourselves, or is this something genuinely truly real?
Right.
I like knowing that there's like two sides to it, like, and they can be meshed together. Like you can have both things and you can believe in both things. So
I also kind of take the skeptic approach as well. You know, I don't chalk everything up as a ghost, but
Right.
if I'm picking up on something and then like the devices start to pick up on it too, then I'm like, okay, I know that something's there.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that can easily be explained that's in the environment. It's something that's creating, you know, essentially energy.
It's harder for me because I'm so incredibly sensitive that like anything, if there's anything around and it graces by me, I can like it. My whole body is like electrified by it. So I have to kind of like take a step back and say, okay, like what was that? Because like you're saying, obviously not everything is paranormal,
Right.
but when also, and I know you're very sensitive too. When you're so sensitive, it's like you can feel things that nobody else is going to. Like
Right.
you know that something's there. Like you can feel that there's somebody there. It's like crazy.
And it's very rare that a psychic and a normal person are going to pick up on the same thing.
Exactly.
But it does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen. I've had it happen a few times where I've picked up on something and somebody else is like, really? Because I got that earlier. And it's like, okay, then maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe my mom's
There's
something
something
right here. Yeah.
But just to interrupt for a second, hi Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Who's Ryan?
He's one of my friends on TikTok.
Why she say hi? Who is it?
So Ryan is one of my friends from back home. We met actually on TikTok, and he's a really positive person, and I like to surround myself with positivity. I'm just a very happy, bubbly person. Like I like to
No
like
negative
relate
Nancy's.
myself to like a river otter. I'm just playful, I like to have fun. I like water.
I'm going to put that emoji by your name now.
Like I just like to like keep it lighthearted. I smile and laugh all the time. Like there's are hardly ever times where I'm like serious. I just like to keep everything upbeat and energetic
And there's always room
know.
for silliness on an investigation.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
go into an investigation think you have to be all doom and gloom and asking,
Yes.
why are you dead? Like, what happened? Why
Yeah.
are you here? You can literally just go in and just laugh.
Yes.
Like, I've found that, like, with Wraith Chasers, we always get the best activity when we're just having fun and we're laughing and we're, talking about, like, stuff that you probably shouldn't talk about on an investigation. Like we're talking about, the alcohol, like the cigars that we bring in, and how the one location that we've been to used to be a brothel. So we bring in that kind of conversation.
Yeah,
we bring
yeah.
in, fake money.
Yeah.
We always get a rise when we start talking about the risque side of things.
Right.
You don't have
You're not
to
gonna worry
be-
about that with me. I have to tone myself down.
Right? You don't have to be 100% serious 100% of the time.
Right. And I think that about does it for this episode. I mean, I feel like we covered a lot, and we do have to get going to our location. I really appreciate everybody joining our podcast, and hope that you stop by for some more. We will be posting more when we get more locations, and we will give you a heads up before we do another live. I mean, we'll do another live, even if it's just you from your webcam and I'm over here with you or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll
definitely
do
be
more.
It'll become more regular once it gets warmer outside.
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
dealing
yes.
with snow and cold
Yes.
temperatures,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't mix when the abandoned buildings and broken windows and freezing cold
Exactly.
temperatures.
Oh my
It
gosh,
just-
yeah.
it doesn't mix.
Yeah, so we will be getting back into things and a more regular schedule. It just kind of, we're just waiting on that right opportune moment. It's just got to be a right gut feeling. And the more we're talking about gut feelings, I just started having this really weird gut feeling. I don't know why, but like it just hit me all of a sudden. And I was like,
I was gonna say something earlier.
something
but
feels funky. I don't know what it is, but something just hit me, and I was just like, okay.
I've been feeling it for a
I
while.
think that's enough.
They're like, all right, it's time for you to shut it down. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I don't know. That was super
So I told you
weird.
when you guys got here, I was like, my energy just went.
Yeah, something just
Like,
like
everything just
hit me out of
drained
nowhere,
out of
and that
me.
was kind of weird. So, but these are our paranormal roots. I mean,
Hey!
play on words, hey. But I just want to say, like, real quick before like we get like going off here, that I just want to say that we love you, Dakota Layden and your crew at Destination Fear. We are with you. We love you.
We are D-Fam.
We are non-stop streaming you.
Our D-Fam. We're
Hey,
actually
look,
watching
you
it
all
right
should,
now.
You all should stream them too. Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
look! We did it! We're actually streaming them right now.
Yeah, we're actually watching.
That's what I wanted to say also with my podcast is we definitely want to shout out to Dakota and just say that we're here with you. We're supportive of you. We want to bring more people into this so we can get more seasons of this. You know, I feel like there's a lot of turmoil going on with new shows and being renewed and stuff, and we just want to stand behind Destination Fear. So if you have not watched it, please go over to the Travel Channel. It's on Hulu. It's on Discovery Plus. You can view all of that on Destination Fear on there. Please go watch more of their episodes. Watch from season 1 to season 4. You will not be disappointed.
And if you like
we
it,
need
share it
another
with your
season.
friends.
yes, please. We want more seasons.
And we
more
also,
seasons.
I also created a petition to renew Destination
Yes.
Fear. You can find
Yes.
it on Twitter. It's probably been shared on Facebook. Or you can just go to change.org and type in Destination Fear Season 5.
And they just came out with shirts that say hashtag renew Destination
Yes.
Fear. Let's
Go
buy
grab
it. So we want more Destination Fear. That's just something that is near and dear to my heart. So I wanted to bring that out and just share and just say that we're with you. DFAM all the way. DFAM for life. And
I mean, I have a tattoo written by Alex, for God's sake.
we love you. We support what you're doing, and we love what you bring to the paranormal world. And we just wanted to know you to know that we wanted you to know that words are hard.
Drew can't talk right now. She's trying to say, we support you guys and we love you guys,
Yes.
and we're doing everything we can to get you guys.
We're doing
renewed.
what we can.
That's it. That's the one. Okay. But yeah. Anyways, we're gonna post about some of our evidence later after we go through everything, but it's going to be mostly in the documentary.
Here's a good question
Yeah.
for the general audience. Will we be live tonight at any point?
Ooh.
It might be really hard because they don't have Wi-Fi, so it kind of just depends on like what happens with that.
Put it this way. If we have service, we'll be going live. at
Yeah,
some
if we
point.
can, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will try.
Yes. But
So just stay up on the socials and we'll figure it
yes,
out.
please follow Drewski30 on TikTok, Kennedy's Haunted Times, right?
Yep.
Haunted Times on Instagram. And then you can find
You
Christina
can find
from
me on their pages.
Yeah, just stalk us for a while.
go to YouTube, follow Paranormal Roots. Why did I name something I can't even say? Oh my gosh. Anyways, Paranormal Roots on YouTube, please. Go do it so I have to stop saying it all the time. Just like, follow,
Just do it.
subscribe, just do it. Comment,
Do it
give
for
us
the
the
teddy bear.
feedback. We love you. Stay weird. And that's all.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. We love you.
I'm gonna end this thing.
Yes. Maybe.
How do you do it?
That's not how you do
I think
that.
you just have to hit the X. I don't know how to do it anymore.
Where's the X?
Blooper reel. Good grief.
I can't do it.
Almighty.